Howdy, and welcome to video 1.3, Introducing the Textbook and Software. The textbook that we'll be using for most of this course is called Language Proof and Logic. The authors are John Barwise and John Etchemendy. Barwise sadly passed away in 2000, but John Etchemendy remains on the faculty at Stanford University. Both have made fundamental contributions to different areas of logic, and also are held in very high regard for their innovative approach to teaching logic. From the point of view of teaching, they're well known for the software programs that they wrote and incorporated into the textbook, as well as for their skill in presenting complicated material in an accessible and user-friendly way. I certainly think that this is the best book that I've come across for studying introductory logic. You'll need to buy a copy of Language Proof and Logic as soon as possible, if you've not already done so. It's reasonably priced and can be purchased either in a paper version or in an electronic version. The electronic version is a little less expensive, but there's not much in it. There are a couple of things to bear in mind when you're thinking about which version to buy. It's easier to navigate around in the paper version, and that can come in useful when you're looking back to try and find definitions or refresh your memory on specific techniques. And if you buy the paper version, you get the electronic version for free. But obviously you should buy whichever version works best for you. The paper version is available in the campus bookstore and from the usual online sites. I've posted a link to the website for the electronic copy on the discussion board. If you buy the electronic copy, then you'll need to download the software from the same website. But whether you buy the paper version or the electronic version, you must purchase the second edition, published in 2011, and not the first edition, which was published in 1999. Finally, and this is very important, you must buy a new copy of the book. A used copy will not be usable in this course. The reason is that you need a special authorization code in order to submit exercises to the grade grinder, and the authorization code is linked to the email address of the original person to register the software and cannot be transferred. So if you buy a used copy, you'll not be able to submit work to the grade grinder. If you've got a copy of the book in front of you, you'll notice that it's really rather large. Don't panic. We won't be covering all of it. The book is designed to cover 2 courses in logic, an introductory course and then a more advanced course. In fact, if you go on to take a second course in logic, you may find that your instructor also uses this book. We'll be focusing on part 1 and the first few chapters of part 2. The details are all on the syllabus and in eCampus. As you'll see there, the last 3 modules of the course will be on probability theory. You won't need to buy a textbook for that section of the course. The material that you need to read is available on eCampus. So the CD that comes with the textbook contains 4 software programs, together with a manual giving detailed user instructions for each of them. The first 3 programs are all designed to help you apply basic logic techniques and solve problems. The programs and all the exercise files are named after famous logicians, in case you're wondering where the names come from. The first program we'll use is called Tarski's World, named after Alfred Tarski, one of the greatest logicians of the 20th century, originally of Polish-Jewish descent. Tarski came to America in 1939 and spent the rest of his career at UC Berkeley. Tarski's World allows you to construct artificial models that you can use to test how logical sentences can be interpreted and whether they're consistent with each other. The second program we'll encounter is called Boole. This program allows you to construct truth tables so that you can understand the behavior of basic logical connectives. George Boole, for whom the program was named, was a 19th century logician whose book, The Laws of Thought, was the first systematic exploration of the behavior of what are now known as the Boolean connectives. The third program, and probably the one we'll spend most time on, is called Fitch. Fitch is a program that allows you to construct formal proofs. In my experience, it's very easy for formal proofs to go wrong because of silly mistakes that don't necessarily reflect a lack of comprehension. Using Fitch makes it easier to spot and correct those silly mistakes. The program Fitch uses a notation developed by the American logician Frederick Benton Fitch, who taught at Yale. Last but definitely not least is the program called Submit. This allows you to submit your work to the grade grinder. The You Try It exercise assigned to this module walks you through the process of submitting an exercise to the grade grinder. So I encourage you to do that exercise right now, or at least as soon as you get a copy of the textbook and software programs. Remember that you can submit privately as many times as you like for feedback. But when you're ready to go live, don't forget to check the box that copies the instructor. I can't assign credit unless I know that you've submitted the exercise, and that won't happen unless you check the box. And please remember to keep copies of your email receipts in case I lose track, or you forget to copy me in.
Earlier versions of Language Proof and Logic came with a CD with the software programs on it, and people typically had difficulties downloading them. Things are much easier now. You won't need to download anything, as all your work will be done on the website. When you buy the textbook, you'll get a registration code, and you'll use that registration code to log into the Grade Grinder website. When you've done that, the homepage will look like this. Everything you'll need is in the menu on the left. Click on Applications to get to the programs. It will look like this. Once you've got to this point, open up Tasky's World and do the You Try It exercise, following the instructions on page 9 of the textbook. Just one thing. The textbook tells you not to check the Instructor To box. That's the only instruction you shouldn't follow. You'll get credit for completing this exercise if you copy the instructor. So make sure that you do check the Instructor To box. That's all for today.